How to get so good at Devil Dinosaur feels like Smurfing. Video by Coach Dinosaur. So today we're going to learn how to, I guess, improve on Devil Dinosaur. He doesn't have much to his kit, but at the same time, he's still very powerful.
So after learning to play Devil Dinosaur in high elo
Here's what
with
Steve
and
said.
against pros, in this video I'll explain what are the most important things to know about him, what
That
his
bite,
gameplay
that
goal
grab, that
is,
turnaround.
and how to carry
Just like
as
that.
much as possible with Dino. I won't go over
Not
what
the
his
dinosaur.
basic
I'm trying
abilities
to
do,
run
as
from
I
him,
know
man.
there's plenty of guides like that out there, so I'll focus on what actually matters when you play him. Starting with the Kidnap Grab tech, which you will be needing because most of the games, if Dino is not banned, you will have to face another Dino, and so whichever one of you can do this tech better usually wins the matchup. If you look normally, the max amount of distance you can grab someone is like this, very short. However, if you can do the
It's
jump
like
tech,
a
you
jump.
can get
Yeah,
a lot more
it's like a jump with it,
distance.
right?
As you can see,
Yeah.
it's a lot further away.
Somebody kept doing that to me in one game, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? And that's how I learned to do it somewhat. I don't know, man. But at first I was just like, bro, why? Like, oh, my boy. I don't know, man.
Way, and of course this means you can get them closer into your team and further away from the enemy team, which can increase the
Just
potential
bully
to kill
'em.
them a
I said
lot
bully
higher.
them,
And so
but-
here is how
and just
you do
bully
it.
'em.
First of all, of course, you want to have the enemy bleeding, which you can either do by a bite or by using the beam. Then when you get close, you want to jump and press your backwards key. This can be S on a keyboard or backwards on the control.
I play on both console and PC, but I use my controller, and so it's like PC players. Look, keyboard and mouse players, they have so many advantages, bro. It's insane. Now I'm not sure if this tech works on controller, which it should, because all you're doing is backing up. So I mean, look, I don't know, man.
So jump, then go
Well, if
backwards.
he said something about
Or
controller,
backwards
right?
on the controller. So jump,
yeah, he said
then go
controller.
backwards,
Well,
and then
he on
you want
keyboard
to
mouse
use
also.
the grab ability. So jump, go backwards, and
That's
there you go. And you can
insane.
see it's a lot more distance compared to just walking normally. Then once you kidnap them like this, you want to, of course, use your
Shoot up.
bubble, because this will cut off
And
the
then
healing
jump
from
'em.
the enemy team.
And
so
then
you
jump
can
'em.
get even more chances to kill this guy, as well as make sure they're bleeding, and while they are inside the bubble, use the bite combo ability, because it does percentage
It
max
shreds,
damage,
yeah.
which is a lot. It does, I think, like 40% max damage if the enemy is bleeding,
that's
which, as you
insane.
can see, is a lot of damage. And so this, combined with blocking the healing from the enemy team with the bubble, you can basically guarantee a kill on the enemy dino. Moving on, another thing to know about.
And also, you could like tail swipe or melee once you like grab them and turn around or whatever. And melee anybody else who's behind you, trying to, I guess, hit you or whatever, or trying to heal him or whatever. I just said
You
or
can
whatever, like
basically
10 times, my
guarantee a
bad.
kill on the enemy dino.
My bad.
Moving on, another thing to know about the bubble specifically is that it has like a gold zone where, as you can see, there's a circle of the bubble, and you can still hit people outside the circle. However, they cannot hit you back. And
Okay,
if I go
cool.
on the
I had no
shooters
idea.
here, and so if I align myself properly here, I
Yeah.
can still hit them, but they cannot hit me back because
Okay.
they're hitting the shield bubble. So
I had no idea.
just slightly outside of this circle from the bubble, you will be able to block damage, but you can still bite them. So this is good against an enemy tank, or maybe an enemy Phoenix if you get close to them, or maybe an enemy Luna, because this way you can block the freeze, but you can still bite the Luna. And so try and play in this kind of gold zone with your bubble, like very close to the enemy where they can't hit you because of the bubble, but you can still bite them. And lastly, with your ultimate, especially against an enemy dino or an enemy thing, sometimes even Loki clones, you don't want to be walking forward, because if you walk forward, you're going to be getting body blocked like this, which is very annoying and it can get you killed. It makes you easier to hit. And so what I have found to be better when you're using your ultimate is you want to kind of spin around them and do kind of like this, So going sideways instead, because that way you won't be getting body blocked as easily, as well as it kind of makes you more difficult for the enemy to hit because they have to, like, you know,
Yeah.
constantly spin around. And so try and move sideways, like keep a target in track and just move sideways with your ultimate. As well as when you're using your ultimate, try and hold down the melee button, which is going to be the tail swipe, and as well as the attack button, because that way when you're going into your ultimate, you're going into a lot of people and you're doing damage all around you, including your primary target as well. So just hold down, literally just hold down the attack and melee button and just spin like in circles around the enemy.
It's so interesting seeing how, you know, certain people just play the same game as you, but they're not playing the same as you. Buddy, you know how many times I ulted with this man or this character and just ran forward. And just ran forward, but seeing how he's, you know, going around in circles and stuff, it makes more sense.
It's a lot
just,
more
I don't know,
annoying for them, and it stops you from getting body blocked.
So
now this is basically everything in terms of what you need to know about his basic abilities. So now let's move on to some actual gameplay examples so you can see how to play this character in a real game. So firstly, in terms of how to play the Dino matchup, because you're going to be seeing it very often if Dinosaur is not banned, it's basically guaranteed that the enemy team is going to have a Dinosaur as well. And so what you want to do is play very patient. You don't want to ooga booga too much. You want to
let them bite first,
each other out, see how each one of you is pushing, how each one of you is going away. And so you want to be very patient and wait for an opportunity where the enemy Dinosaur walks to forward and you can grab him away from his team because he's already overextended, or he's already using his abilities, which means you won't be able to counter you, which is going to happen here. As you can see, he grabs me and then I grab him backwards. And he
let them grab first.
What he did here is
unless they grab you, like, you know, how old boy just, you know, taught us, because then you might be getting beat on. I don't know.
Inside of my team. But
no, you should be able to like make it back and
grab him backwards
and do something like that. And seeing him with his feet in the air is crazy.
I still had my bubble.
I don't know.
And I
seeing this Dinosaur just getting hemmed up. Like, this is so funny, man.
You just grab him backwards, and now he's screwed because look
how
far
back to
away he is from the
bang.
team. That's why you want to try and grab second usually, because that way you can counter grab and you can have the momentum. Another example you can see here where I get grabbed first. However, I can now just counter grab him and he's basically screwed because he has no way of getting out. If you get grabbed first, you still have your own grab, which you can use to get out. So that's why you want to try and grab second if you can, because that way the enemy Dino will not have a counter, and then he's basically screwed like this. And here's an example of doing the jump tech on him. As you can see, I grab first, so even though I just said you want to grab second, if you can do the jump tech, then grabbing first can be better, because even though you will get grabbed second, you won't be able to cover the distance from your jump tech, and so it doesn't really matter.
Unless they also jump tech as well, then it's kind of just like, but it's like rock, paper, scissors. You know, you win some, you lose some, man. You know.
So that's why it's
always going to be some type of
and try
gamble
to get the enemy Dino as far away from the enemy team as possible. Like, as you're gonna see here, I get grabbed first. However, I can jump tech counter grab him, and it puts him in a very far away position. Like, I know I almost died there, but as you can see, it's still kind of far away from the team, the rest of the team. And so he's gonna die here because it's a lot more distance and it's a lot more pressure. Then in terms of playing against other tanks, Emma is another one. People say it's a big counter. The only thing about Emma is you have to be aware of her diamond form. And if you know she doesn't really have it, or the enemy Dino is down or away, then you can just use your bubble and go on the Emma, block her healing, and she's just a free kill essentially. So you always want to try and use your bubble as much as possible to cut off enemy healing.
I am so glad they added in this Dinosaur, man. Like, so many people are upset in higher ranks, and whatever. But to me, we finally have a tank that feels like a tank and is fun to play, man. It's it's beautiful.
Your
Oh my
body, you want to
god,
position
man.
yourself, as you can see here, between the enemy tank and the enemy supports, because unless it's something like Invis, if it's a Luna or something that the healing doesn't go through, like maybe White Fox, then even just your body can block the enemy healing, which doesn't pass through you. So Luna is an example, Cloak is another example. So you want to try and get yourself between the enemy tank and the enemy supports, because that way they won't be getting any healing. Then of course use the beam whenever you're too far away to do anything, just so you can have a bit more damage and more pressure overall.
Ain't no
But the beam
running,
is
man.
not the best, so don't overthink it too much. Just use it whenever you can't do anything else. And lastly, in terms of your ultimate, you wanna use your ultimate to get into the enemy backline and try and apply as much pressure as possible onto the enemy supports, because if you focus on the tanks, you won't really
They
be able
probably
to
aren't
kill
going
them
to
because
die.
they will just
Yeah.
get out healed. So that's why you want to try and focus on the targets that are a bit squishier, if you are allowed and if you can reach them. Otherwise, like I said, try and spin around as much as possible so you can apply as much bleed and be more annoying to hit as possible with your ultimate. Another example here, I'm just using
He
my
is
ultimate and going for
bullying
the
that
enemy
other
invis, because the enemy supports are the
dinosaur.
most important. You can get counter-ulted by Strange, which is pretty decent. However, luckily I live, and once again I'm going for the supports, because when you have your ultimate, you have a lot of movement speed, you apply a lot of bleed everywhere, and so you can quite easily reach the enemy backline, and even if you don't kill them, it applies a ton of pressure onto them,
Mr. Guang
which will
Guang
give your team the
standing
opportunity
over
to
a
either
dead
kill the rest of
body.
the enemies, or
This is
capitalize on
insane.
it and take some space and move up forward. So that is basically the character. It's not super complicated. The most important things
No,
about
he's
this
very
character
simple.
is positioning, so that you can avoid damage whenever possible and not ooga boogaing too much, because if you ooga booga too much, you're a massive target, you will eat a lot of damage, and if you're not careful, you will just die in the middle of the open. So that's it. I hope you learned something, and try, like I said, to be patient. This character requires a lot of patience. So just be patient, and I guarantee you will do well. Anyways, thanks for watching. Coach
Okay, so
out.
that was Coach DSR's tips or his guide on how to get better on Devil Dinosaur. His guide was pretty, competent and just, smooth and direct to the point, straight to the point. A lot of guides, they give you so much, just, look, just keep it straightforward with me, man. But yeah, I'm rocking with it. I might react to something else. Well, a few other videos of his if he does have, more, which I believe he has more. He's a coach.